literature and translation studies, and the basic tools that comparative literature and translation studies provide you with. And though I have had a discussion about what comparative literature is with the students of optional, I will have that conversation again, and especially for those who are not part of that paper. Right. So how many of you are not part of comparative Indian literatures? Please raise your hand. Okay. Hita, Dharti, Soumya. What is this? Savai?
Pankaj.
Pankaj, okay. Pankaj, your name shows something else over here, right? Okay, Nisarg, Riya. And what is this? ABEMASANDHAL? How do I pronounce your name? Prutha, Sakina, Debrati, Shirin. Right. So these 11 people or so
Sir,
have not.
20 of us are in syntax and 29 of us are in comparative literature.
How many of you are in syntax?
20.
20.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Debrati, anything you have to say?
No, sir, I was trying to put my hand down and this happened. Sorry, sir.
No issues. Okay. So before I tell you what this is and why we are doing it, I want to ask you a question. The question is, how many of you have some experience of translating? It might be anything, not literature, not poetry, drama, but maybe something like newspaper report, or maybe some material for your siblings, friends, or anything. Or you might have just tried doing something. So how many of you have experience of translating individually? Okay, Riya, Tehini, Saizal, Soumya, Rushi, Hita, Astha, Hiren, Nisha, Subra, Pooja, Tasneem. You have translated something, right, from some language to another. How many of you have interpreted something that is said in one language into English or the other way around for your friends or relatives, or for while conversing with maybe in the market or anything? Interpreting is translating orally, right? Explaining orally. Okay.
Sir, I've done it.
Right. From one language to another, right? Okay. So tell me about your experiences. Just revisit that experience. And how many times did you have such experiences? How many times you did that? And what was your experience about it? I want to hear from you.
So if I can go first, then
Yeah.
I would say that I was in this internship where like I had a team of content writers and some of them were good, but you know how we are in this habit of first thinking in Hindi and then writing in English. So sometimes people use phrases like, that they want to speak in English, but they translate it literally from Hindi to English. So when, for example, when we say कि उसकी रगों में चेस है, तो ये हम हिंदी में बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है, but when you translate it into English, you cannot just write chess was in his blood. So so I came across a couple of sentences like that for a magazine, and I was curious, first of all, to see that happen. And it's hard to convince people that you just because it's right in Hindi, it's not it doesn't go that way in English. You can say that that person has a passion for chess. He has always had a passion for chess. या
Yes.
फिर there was this other line where it said कि उसने ये चीज अपने ग्रैंडफादर से इनहेरिट करी है, तो उसको ये टैलेंट अपने दादाजी से मिला है, ये हम हिंदी में बोल सकते हैं, बट व्हेन वी स्पीक दैट इन इंग्लिश वी कांट से कि ही गॉट दैट फ्रॉम हिज ग्रैंडफादर जस्ट लाइक दैट. He shares a passion for chess. He learned it from his grandfather, something like that. But there were a lot of sentences which were translated just as they are spoken in Hindi.
Right. So
So
I get your overall gist of what you are saying. That very often we translate from our first languages or Hindi into, and
right,
you find similar phrasing in the English text. Something
right.
that would be natural in Hindi, but in English it sounds not very English.
Absurd.
So the
Yeah, it sounds
examples
absurd.
that you give are not much of a problem in English, right? Inherited from his, or he got it from his grandfather, or that it's in his blood. All this is acceptable in English, actually.
Chess
But
is in
that
his
what
blood.
you are trying to say, it makes sense, right?
Right.
That you find things which sound normal in Hindi, but it doesn't sound normal in English. So some
Right.
element of Hindi idiom or construction, they have worked themselves into English texts, and that stands out and doesn't
Right.
read normally, right? Is that what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Do I get what you are saying? Okay.
Yes.
So what do you think happens in translation then? What about what is it that goes into translation then?
Sir, according to me, when you translate something, you want to capture the meaning. So, whether or not you keep the structure just the same as it was in the other language, if you're trying to convey that he's passionate for something, you would not say it exactly in the exact same structure as you would in Hindi.
Right.
So you may use, of course the words are different, but you are trying to use the best words that convey the same meaning.
So, and do you think there are you find words with same meaning, Soumya?
To an extent, like you can be similar. Not always would you find an exact equivalent of words in the other language. You can try to capture it as well as you can.
As well as you can, right?
Right.
Not always do you find exact equivalents. Okay. Who else wants to share their experiences?
So
Astha?
may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, this is Hazel sir, this side. So last year I did a translation. That company was making some app regarding diet chart and body exercises for pregnant women. So they asked me to translate, like they got a reference from somewhere. So they asked me to translate from English to Hindi. So there were few words that I was very much confused and what to do with this in English. So I used Google Translate and it turned out to be a disaster for few words. So what Soumya said, that there are certain words which we do not get accurate meaning. So I completely agree with that to an extent we get it, but then sometimes it becomes completely different thing. Like अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाता है वो. That's what I would say.
Can you give that example?
No, sir, I don't remember exactly because it was last year and I've completely
If
forgot
it comes
that.
back to you, just share, right?
Sorry?
That,
I didn't get
if
you,
that
sir.
comes back to you, if you remember, then
Sure,
just share
sir.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
I might have the spreadsheet of that document. I will just look into it. I might have that in my
Yeah.
mail. But
So
that
what
turned out to be a
I would
complete
say is
disaster. I
that
was like, what I did this to? I was like, what do I say now to the owner who gave me this? I can't say anything.
And
This
did you use dictionaries?
I did. Then also I was confused. I talked to my mom regarding it because, as I said, my parents speak Hindi and my mom is a Hindi teacher and everything. So I asked her, listen, I need your help.
You were translating from Hindi to English?
No, sir, English to Hindi.
English to Hindi, okay.
Yeah.
अर्थ का
English.
अनर्थ हिंदी में हो जाता है उसका.
हाँ, that was I was saying.
And even
कि English.
dictionary did not help much, right?
Yeah. There were certain words, so I
Translation
asked.
was one of the worst things that happened in the process.
Sir, wait a minute. Your voice was breaking. Yeah, could you please repeat, sir?
I said Google Translate was one of the worst thing that happened to you.
Yeah, Google Translate was one of the worst. I was like, what? Then I realized I was doing much better than Google Translate. I shouldn't have gone there.
Right.
The sentence was completely ruined. So I was like, okay, let's not go to Google Translate now.
Okay.
Yeah, so this happened. I'll look into the sheet if
Yeah,
I have it, then I'll
Right.
share it. Sure. Sir.
Right. Yes, Dharti.
Yeah, so like I haven't had much experience with it, but now that I'm learning French, so like they have different structures, right? So because these English structures are so fixed in my head, so in French, the placement changes a bit. So I'll always say, a blue car and not a car blue. Like adjectives follow the noun there. I mean, they precede the noun in French.
Acha, in French, adjectives follow the noun.
Like they come before the noun. So like, sorry, what I'm saying, Dekha, I'm still confused. Even while explaining to you, I'm still confused. So in French, like we'll say, a car blue, like une voiture blue, and not a blue car. So that's a bit confusing. So yeah.
Right. So post positions is what they have, right? Post positioning of the modifiers.
Yeah, and even like all their nouns are gendered, like feminine nouns and masculine nouns. So even that makes it like more difficult.
Okay. Yeah, so then what happens to the meaning very often when you say, for example, use blue as an adjective that is a pre modifier rather than post modifier. तो क्या होता है French में?
I mean, they'll understand it, but it's very wrong, na? Like you don't write it like that.
Sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Sounds okay. And what about genders? Nouns having genders when you translate into English, yeah, from English to. So you seem to think in English, but then you translate into French, and that creates a kind of
Major
structural,
confusion.
grammatical fusion. Right. Genders of noun. Can you give some examples so that we understand it better?
Yeah, so like we have two, like le and la. Le for like masculine noun, then la for feminine, and le like for plural nouns, right? So we say le dentist, like la, like le dentist means a masculine dentist, a male dentist, and we add another e or so something, so that becomes la. La.
So that's feminine of dentist.
Yeah.
Okay. So by using pre-modifiers, you can indicate the genders of the noun, which we don't in English. Doctor होता है, doctor नहीं सिर्फ हिंदी में होता है, right? But in French you can gender doctor, है ना? Right? If I get you correctly.
Yeah. Yes.
But doctor नहीं ऐसा कहता है तो la doctor, something like that.
Like I'm still confused. I still make many mistakes there.
So I get what you are saying, that this structural, the unique grammatical properties of French and English are different, which causes this confusion because you think in English and when you try to reproduce it in French, it comes out very awkwardly or incorrectly. Yeah? Is that what you are trying to say?
Yes, sorry. And even the pronunciations, I mean, that's a different thing. Chalo, wo chhod dete hain. But even some spellings, like they are similar to English in many ways, but kai baar, there's an extra E or a X or a U.
So even similarity can create problems, right?
So?
Similarity can create problems, Dharti. We think that English wala aur ye ek hi hai, to fir spelling bhi you use English one, but you find out that it's not how it's spelled in French.
So
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Subra.
sir, if I can just add to
Yeah,
what
Astha.
the
Yes, sir. Did you call
Yeah,
my name?
for
First
example,
Astha, then Shubhra, and then Preeti. Yeah.
okay, so like Dharti said, there are a few short descriptive adjectives which go before the noun, and then colors
Which
or
language?
nationalities they go after the noun
In which language?
in French. So that is one, yeah. So that is one structural thing, and I just wanted to add that to the words that sound similar in English and French, like there is a verb called rester, rester. So it looks like to rest, right? But it actually means to stay. And there's another verb for to rest, which is reposer, reposer. So they can sound similar, but they are called like false friends. They are called
Exactly.
foes.
I
I
was
mean,
going to use that term, false friends.
yeah,
Like in Marathi word Naura means bridegroom, and in Gujarati Naura means somebody who has nothing better to do. So,
Yeah.
though they are similar, right? Only people who have nothing better to do get married. But you don't make sense. In Naura in Marathi means entirely different. So these are false friends. Okay. Yeah. So who was going to say something else? Shubhra and Preeti, and then Saizal and Putha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shubhra.
Yes, sir. So, along with what Astha added, that there are some of the adjectives which are placed after the noun, some are placed before the noun in French. And there is also one more thing that when you have, for example, taking the word black, okay, so black has two meanings, okay. One is a figurative meaning that something bad or something not favorable happens. So in French, what happens is that in English we are not going to do anything about it, we are going to call it a black day. So black day will stay black day, उसमें structural कुछ change नहीं होगा, even if it is a figurative or a literal meaning. But in French, what happens is you change the you sometimes, not for all the adjectives, but for some adjectives, when you have a figurative meaning, आप उनकी जगह opposite कर देते हो. So for instance, if it is coming before the noun, you place it after. If it's after, you place it before. So in
Okay.
that also sometimes you get confused while translating. If you are not aware of this, you might make some error.
Okay. Right. So placement of the modifiers can change from literal to figurative, or figurative to literal may get confused. So if you do it in French, then the person may not get whether what you are saying is figuratively or literally. Right? Is that
Yes.
possible?
Yes, if you misplace if you misplace the adjective.
Right.
For
Right. Because I
example.
don't know French. I'm taking your word for it. So yeah. Yeah. Who else wants to say something? Saizal.
Yes, sir, I got that sheet, and the sentence was in English, the sentence was twist to your water. So this was the sentence that I looked up for in
Come
Google
again, please
Translate.
repeat. Please.
Twist to your water. This
Twist.
was the twist to your water. Like the person was mentioned that how you can, add certain things in your water to keep you hydrated and stuff like that. So this was the sentence I looked up for in Google Translate, and the translation was twisted to your water. Yeah, I didn't get it because that was completely biological stuff in there, so I didn't bother much. So
Yeah.
the sentence, when I looked up in Google Translate, it turned out to be "आपके पानी के लिए मोड़." So I was like, I wasn't looking for this. So it turned out to be "आपके पानी के लिए मोड़." So I was like, I wasn't looking for this. And then another was down on your dairy, or down dairy, something related to this, like cut off your dairy products. So then I changed the whole thing. So this twist to your water was something which went wrong.
Yeah, Preeti, go ahead.
Okay, sir, I joined the class late, so I'm not sure if this has already been discussed.
No,
And if it
what we
has
are
been, I'm
discussing
sorry.
is
Yeah.
our discussion is that how many of you had experience of translating something? It may be anything, not literary, kuch
Yeah.
bhi. and what was
Yeah,
your
so-
experience? That's what we are discussing.
Well, sir, whatever I've had to translate, it's usually been, from English to Gujarati or Gujarati to English. And because of my parents, I've had a relatively easy. Uh, yeah, I've had a relatively easier. I mean, I've had a lot of help always, and it's been easy for me because I grew up reading both of them just as, I mean, okay, I can't articulate, I'm sorry. But yeah, the main point that I wanted to put across was that even if we find a word like even if we find a word, which means the same as the word we want in the actual language. For example, if we are doing English to Gujarati to English or Hindi to English, right? Even if we find some words which mean the same, the problem is that the same word can have a completely different, you know, meaning or a different symbolism in different cultures.
Can you
Because
give
even
an
if you
example? Can you give a specific example or two?
For example, sir, I find the most common example or the most easy to understand example would be the word odni, because we can call it a scarf, we can call it many other things, yet it wouldn't mean the same to a Westerner because the concept of lajja is so different to them. Or when if you read old poetry and every time you talk about it, or yeah, so because that's what I read in a few poems, and I discussed this like a few years back. When Dr. Darshan used to take my allied paper, that this word, it's so difficult to make make foreigners understand why this one word, even if you translate it to just a scarf or a covering, you don't exactly understand the meaning as to why the odni falling off was such a big deal. And a lot of them, they just think that it's now a moment of fear, but it's not always a moment of fear, right? Sometimes it's, as I said, the concept of lajja or sharam is so foreign to them that it becomes really difficult, even if you find the right words, even if you find
Yeah,
something
so
which means.
how many of you have this kind of experience which Preeti is sharing, that there are terms which seem to have equivalence, but they are not really equivalents. They are so culturally loaded that even if it roughly denotes the same thing, like odni के लिए upper garment covering, a scarf or anything, but it does not really mean what it say it odni is. So how many of you have similar experiences like Preeti has in French or whatever languages that you use, the earlier people who shared? Yeah, Khadija, anything that you want to say? Ria?
Okay, so this is a little funny. So the region I live in, like in Rajasthan, and this place, Banswara, Dungarpur, and this place is called Wagad. So our language is called Wagri. Now, when I was in Gujarat, and I used to say that Wagri is my language. Now, Wagri means something else there, and they all used to laugh, and they're like, "Oh my God, your language is Wagri, but that means this," and I did not know it. So like yeah, I don't know if it's related, but yeah, like the cultural difference and the language difference, actually it's called Wagadi and there it means something else, so it kind of it was a little funny. So yeah,
Yeah,
that was
people
one.
thought over here that it is Wagri, right?
Yeah, exactly, and they used to laugh, like then I realized that okay, Wagadi means this in Gujarati.
And is Wagri a separate language or is it a dialect of Rajasthani?
No, sir, it's a dialect only because the region is called Wagad. So I don't know if like it's
But is
similar
it
to
closer
Marwar.
to Mewadi or Marwadi? Is it
It's a
closer?
mix. It's a mix. It's a like a
Rajasthani?
it's a kind of mixed language, I guess.
Okay.
So it's yeah. So we have named it Wagri, and it means something else there.
Right. So it ends up in creating miscommunication. Similarities can create miscommunication, entirely different meaning. Yeah.
Yeah,
So how
yeah.
many of you have these kind of experiences like Preeti, Khadija, and others who talked about French? That structural change can result in some hasyaspati. Yeah, Prutha.
Yes, So I had a similar problem with what Dharti talked about, French language. So I took French in my 11th and 12th standard. So what happens, the words sounds like they're written the same way. They have pronunciation in similar way, but they are completely different words. Because for example, we have sang in English. So that is the past tense to sing, of sing. But in French, it means blood. So when I used to translate, I was like, sang is supposed to be singing, and then why is it throws blood over here? So I got
So
confused. And the
similarity does
same with
not similarity
them.
does not indicate equivalence of meanings, right? So it can be
Yes.
actually misleading.
Yes, sir.
So these are the challenges that you have faced as translators. Anyone else wants to share some challenges?
May I
Yeah,
speak?
yeah.
Like previously, everybody talked about French, and I can totally relate, but with my German language. So right now I'm learning German, but that's an altogether different process. As much as people think that English is a very good language because you can, like, learn different foreign languages because you know English. But I think English is playing a role of hindrance and obstacle for me to learn German. And sometimes when I'm learning German, I think Hindi plays a more good role sometimes in the sentence structures or formations or genders and stuff. And as everybody talked about articles and adjective endings, so even German language has like a lot of adjective endings. Like every article would have different adjective ending for every adjective. So you would have to learn adjective ending for ein, eine, einen, einem, dative form, accusative form, nominative form. So that's like a lot of things to learn. So I think when you're learning some foreign language, English is something which is super easy. I don't mean to degrade it, but I think it's quite difficult to learn foreign language compared to English. And
Okay.
and
So
when
knowledge of English can actually become hindrance because it may mislead you very often.
English has quite simple structures, like you just say you, and you can mean informal you and formal you, plural you, and everything. But in German, we don't have that. You would have to use du for informal you. You would have to use ihr for informal there. You would have to use formal sie for you people like who are above you or elder to you. So there are a lot of differences, and those differences also have different conjunctions. So I think English does play an obstacle. And talking about translations, in my third year, for the fifth semester, we actually took a group project of translation and its study. And even you helped us with that project. So when we were translating the poem called Kadach by Suresh Joshi and also Dinkar's Gandhi, we had lots of problem doing that.
So what were those problems? Can you
Like,
talk about them?
there were lots of problems. Like first we would have to literally translate it. That's what we did. Like first we would just literally write what we know it in English. So we would do that, and after that there were like problems which I remember very clearly. So we were talking about how we would go forward with it. So there was this line, Kadach hu kale nai rahu. Like I'm not very good with Gujarati, but that's how it was. So it can be translated as I may not be there tomorrow. But then this was seen as a prose writing. Like this would be something which you would write in prose. And we were translating a poem. So we were not supposed to go like that. And then we changed it to tomorrow I may not be there. So the structure and the synonyms and the sound, rhythms, all of them played a role. And then even we had to set the mood, like tone of the poem. Since there was a patriotic song, we had to have serious equivalent, good translated English poem to that Hindi poem. So.
Right. Yeah, Dehini wants to say something, I guess.
Nice. So it was just along the lines of
One person at a time. Yeah, Khadija, you were saying something? Khadija? Okay, anyone else wants to share?
So may I add
So,
to what Pooja said?
Go ahead.
So like hello.
Astha, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, like, when I heard Pooja talking about how English is a, can be a hindrance. First of all, German sounds super difficult. I cannot imagine how I will ever learn if I, try to. But in French, like, we have certain grammatical aspects which match with Hindi and Gujarati, right? For example, the possessive adjectives like my, your, his, her. So if I have a book and you want to speak it in third person, you will say her book, right? So it will depend on me, the person it belongs to. But in Hindi or Gujarati, it depends on the object's gender, right? Meri kitab, yeah, mari book. So the same thing happens in French. So when you translate that, some people find it very difficult even when they're learning, but also in terms of translation, if it is not if it is translated literally like English, it can change the whole meaning. So
Okay.
I'm saying,
So if you want to sum up the entire discussion, what are the chief challenges in translation? What are the problems, chief problems?
like finding like literal equivalents won't really help in capturing the meaning, like
Won't
the
really help in?
sorry,
Okay. Literal equivalents won't really help in finding.
yeah, always.
Okay. Okay, that is one
Not
problem.
always.
Right. And what else?
so one challenge is that so one challenge would be that in some languages the agreement is subject verb object, while in other languages it's object verb subject. So
The
when you have
syntactical differences.
yeah
Can say
yeah
that you are studying syntax.
yes sir.
And so maybe finding the cultural. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just keep on interrupting. I'm so sorry. I'll continue later. Sorry.
Anyone else want? What other challenges would you face?
So
the same, the grammatical differences and the originality which we lost while translating anything.
I can't hear you properly, Ria. Can you? Yeah.
So I was saying that the difficulties we face like grammatical difficulties and the originality we lost when we translate something into another language. And also,
Can you give an example of originality being lost?
Like Pooja said, we were worked on a project in our 5th sem. We were in the same group. So there was a line in Dinka's poem, "Puri parvat apni hateli par uthakar," aisa. So it was a poem of builders. Okay, when we translated them into English, so we get a line like the whole carrying whole mountain on our palm. So that makes us completely another difference from that poem. I mean, the builders of that
lost, right? Viewers is lost.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other challenge you can think of?
So may I?
Yeah.
Yes. So like finding, like you'll find words maybe like when you translate, and it's difficult to find,
Come again. What did?
Okay, sorry. So like when you translate, it might be difficult, but you might find certain words, when you're translating that might fit. But I guess a challenge is also to find cultural equivalence while explaining stuff. Like Preeti said about Lajja, right? So
cultural equivalent, yeah, very good.
Yeah, okay. So Preeti said about that Lajja thing. So, I mean, I'm just giving an example, but when we say odhani, and as you said, it's not just, a piece of scarf or a piece of clothing. And like if you say in another language, for example, her scarf flew off, right? So they might not understand what the big deal is about, the odhani flying off a woman's body. So yeah.
थोड़ी है तो लेके आओ, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है ना? Okay. Yes, very good. Any other thing? Very nice. Anyone wants to add? So the problems that are listed out is literal equivalents cannot really work even if you find them. And the example is that repose and rest. So this looks similar, but there is a great difference in meaning even if it is literally equivalent. So equivalence can be misleading. That is in multiple ways you said that, right? The second is grammatical and syntactical differences, like a prepositioning of modifier or SVO phrase or grammatical gender of the nouns, right? As in French. That is another hurdle before translation. Then somebody says originality very often get lost, especially things like Veer Ras comes out in English as a very prosaic one, something which does not really capture that spirit of Veer Ras, right? And cultural equivalence is a problem, though you find matches very often. Cultural equivalence like Odni cannot be translated almost, right? Even if you find equivalence, it's not really an equivalence, right? So these are some of the challenges. So what do you say about translation? What kind of process? How would you describe it? Meaning versus structure was something that Soumya started talking about, that structural equivalence cannot be retained in another language, syntactical equivalence in another language. And when you do that, it comes out rather awkwardly in your target language, that is English, right? When she was so target language is language जिसमें आप translate करते हो. Okay. The other thing was about when you use Google or dictionary, you end up doing something atrocious, right? And so again, dictionary or machine translation is not going to help you much, right? That's a challenge. And then false friends was also a trap that was mentioned. And poetic quality very often it gets lost, while as Pooja and later on even Astha talked about. Then acquisition of foreign languages involves some amount of translation. Is also an experience that seems to be common. So even when you're learning French, you're not learning French just like that. You're learning it through English or your other language, German through English or something. And this middle language can at times be hindrance, right? So language acquisition may be, a translation plays a role, and that role can be mislead you or help you. It's very often dicey. So all these issues of translation, how will you describe translation as a process? What kind of process is translation? How will you describe it?
Extremely
Very
difficult,
good.
tricky.
Difficult, challenging, okay. What else?
Tricky, definitely tricky.
Tricky. And there are places where you may slip, right?
Also tedious.
Tedious, okay. Very good.
Needs lot of time.
Pardon, can you come again? Can you repeat?
Translation also needs a lot of time. So translation work also needs a lot of time to work on.
Lot of time consuming? I couldn't hear what she was saying.
Yes, sir.
Time consuming.
Yes, sir. Time.
Right. What else, Preeti? How will you describe translation?
Also, sir, I
So
believe.
we talked.
Sorry, Preeti, go ahead.
So we talked so much about, trying to make sense while translating. We completely forgot to talk about things that do not make sense. So this one time, right? So when I had to narrate Alice in Wonderland in Gujarati, right? So the actual book, I mean, it is supposed to be nonsensical, right? So how do I narrate that in like Shuddh Gujarati to kids who have never read English or like who hardly read English, right?
Jabberwocky.
And I have already
Jabberwocky
taken
was
other. Yeah,
what kind of animal
yeah,
was Jabberwocky?
and maybe I can describe the animal, sir, but then the language itself, right? I mean, it is so nonsensical and it is supposed to be so. So how do I, render the same story in Gujarati and
Is it
just
possible?
keep the level of
Is it
nonsense
possible?
alive?
Is it possible?
Oh, I tried. I tried, and it was good. Like, so what I did is
I get it. You tried and
not
it
narrated in like one session.
Is it the same
I
story?
narrated it in 2 sessions. Yes, the same story, and I managed to find a Gujarati translation, but it was abridged. And
But did it work as well
which
as
was the
English?
problem. It is not supposed. Alice in Wonderland is not supposed to make sense. I don't think
But did
so.
it see nonsense
I'm
का भी
not
sense
sure.
होता है, Preeti. There is no such thing like nonsense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So could you translate the sense of the nonsense?
Oh yes, I did. I mean the girls, they were like 5 to
My
8
question
wale.
is, did it work as well as your first language? Now this is for all of you. Did your translation work as well as the original? How many of you say yes? Utna hi acha hai, it worked as well. Preeti says that.
So I
Who
don't
else?
think I can compare other people to compare with. That's like they seemed to have fun. It was like, and like my seniors told me that it was a good session after it was over.
What about others'
But,
experiences?
yeah.
Other log. What was your experience? Was it equally? Did it work equally well? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So,
This
sir,
is for all of you who said something.
when it comes to my experience, I mean, it was pretty informal. I have had just one formal translation experience. But when it comes to informal,
I'm interested in informal translations.
informal in the sense that I don't get money for it.
कोई भी, yeah, कोई भी. Whatever
So-
your experience.
Unpaid labor.
So, so when you
About
have
formal
to teach,
experience. I'm
when you
talking
have
about
to
any experience. Yeah.
So as Dharti said, is completely, absolutely true. There are certain cultural references. There are certain cultural instances which you can never, explain them in their own way. So I believe a person who translate has a very important job, because that person has to know both of these cultures, because language carry cultures. And I believe in order to explain these things, so for example, I teach people like IELTS. So when they have to go for speaking and they want to describe their favorite festival, and in front of them there is someone who is not Indian or probably not from Gujarat, that person has to explain what is Navratri. That person has to make sure that, okay, the सामने वाला आदमी को पता चला कि what festival that I'm talking about. He cannot just say कि चलो I like Navratri and be done with it. So you have to interpret the text instead of exactly translating it. So that,
right,
I believe, is very important for a translator to know both of these cultures.
And
so when
if there is nothing like Navratri in the other person's culture, how will you explain Navratri?
Exactly. So when I tell a person that, okay, at the age of 21, people in America usually go to clubs and pubs to celebrate these things. Nowadays, because of Western influence, people know, but a lot of people have no idea that, okay, we have to go to pubs to celebrate our 21, या फिर हम तो घर में बैठ के मेरे पापा के साथ पी लेंगे. So you have to explain these things.
So it requires a lot of explanations.
Yes, exactly.
Interpretations and explanations where there is no equivalence available. Very good. So now you can see the difficulties involved in translation, right? So we spent 45 minutes discussing the challenges and obstacles, and you have a sense of what is involved in the process of translation, right? You got a sense of that? So now my question is, what are the literary critics that you studied in your BA and MA? कौन से लिटरेरी क्रिटिक्स सीखे हैं? MSU वाले ना बोले तो ठीक है क्योंकि मैंने ही पढ़ाया था उनको. नॉन MSU स्टूडेंट्स. या देहिनी.
So, sir, like any paper in criticism, I began with Plato and Aristotle, then went to Longinus and Horace. Then we talked about Sidney, Dryden, Wordsworth, Eliot, F.R. Lewis, and then that was, and Derrida, and structuralism, like Fournier, the Saussure. But these were the, literary terms that we had to read. I mean, they were separate from criticism. No, they were a part of criticism, but not exactly the full theory. And then, in masters, what we learned.
What did you learn in masters criticism?
It began with the whole theory. Like we read structuralism again. We read. Oh my God, sir, मैं भूल गई. But
Anyone
Marxism.
हाँ, Marxism. Yes. Thank you.
Marxism में क्या क्या पढ़ा आपने? और स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म में क्या क्या पढ़ा? What essays did you study in Marxism and structuralism?
Well, first was ideology and ideological state apparatuses. Then followed Louis Althusser. I don't know how to spell that person's name.
Okay. Okay.
Then, okay, I don't remember everything.
Anyone else who remembers? Structuralism or Marxism में क्या पढ़ा?
There was Anti-Oedipus too, and
Pardon, can you come
Communist
again?
Manifesto.
Can you repeat? I can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Marxism, there was Communist Manifesto, first chapter, then Anti-Oedipus and ideological state apparatus, and there was this one topic, one more, Marxism and literature, I guess. It was also there.
Okay. And in structuralism? Structuralism में क्या?
Sir.
And there was Todorov.
Todorov and
Victor.
Saussure, sir.
Saussure.
Saussure, okay.
And Mikhail Bakhtin, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, Bakhtin, Saussure and Todorov.
Sigmund Freud.
Freud, you studied
Bakhtin.
something. Okay.
That was in
Bakhtin.
psychoanalysis.
And psychoanalysis, you studied Freud. What else?
Freud.
Lacan.
Lacan.
Okay. And
Irigaray.
okay. Louis Irigaray. Okay, Irigaray. What else? Okay, so what did you study Walter Benjamin?
Yes, we did.
Yes, sir, last semester.
हाँ वही मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. Walter Benjamin. Okay.
Adorno and Horkheimer.
Okay, Adorno and Horkheimer. Okay.
Also John Berger, if that's not mentioned already.
Fine.
Falcon.
And this year in criticism, you are studying what?
Sir, first is reader response theory.
And what you are studying at?
We haven't started yet. The first one is reader response theory.
Okay. And which are the essays that you are studying in that? You have not started, but do you know?
We did have a very brief sort of information introduction to it when we were reading popular fiction. There's this section which talks about that reader response theory says that a meaning that a text carries depends upon the reader, the meaning that reader makes out of it, and it's not inherent in the text.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. How many of you had European literature
Yes,
in
sir. We
translation?
have actually read readers.
यूरोपियन लिटरेचर क्या क्या पढ़ा था आपने?
Franz
So we had
Kafka.
Kafka, Dostoevsky, and Eugene Ionesco, and we had one more writer. Like text
Ionesco,
from these writers. That's what I mean.
Ionesco and
Lorca was there, I think.
Lorca.
Kafka,
Okay.
Yeah, we also had
Lorca,
Lorca.
Kafka.
Also
Okay.
Dostoevsky.
And
George Williams.
Kafka was also there. Yeah.
We had Dostoevsky, and then we also had poetry from
Dostoevsky,
Baudelaire, Rilke,
Yeah.
Baudelaire, and who?
Rilke.
Paul
George
Celan.
Paul Celan.
Yeah, and
Celan.
Celan.
Okay. So Ionesco, Lorca, Kafka, Dostoevsky, Rilke, Baudelaire, Celan, and
We had an essay by Hölderlin for rubber literature.
okay, Hölderlin. Okay. And who had Latin American as their?
Komal had, I guess.
Okay. So what did you study, Komal?
So we had short stories from Borges, written by Borges, and there was an Latin American novel as well, Feast of the
Which one?
Goat.
Why?
What? Why? Okay,
Why?
by like I don't know how to pronounce it. La Lorsa, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we had poems, and in the poems, one was a sort of anthology by women writers, and I think it was called. I'm forgetting the name.
Fine. What
The
else?
then we had drama. So in drama, like there were 3 plays, and we talked a lot about how we drew parallel from Brecht's theater, and how, like, innovative the Latin American theater was.
Okay. Great. Now, the question that I'm going to ask: how much of this did you study in original, and how much of this did you study in translation? Plato, Aristotle, Longinus, Horace, ये आपने ओरिजिनल ग्रीक और लैटिन में पढ़ा या ट्रांसलेशन में पढ़ा?
Translation.
Translation.
और जितने मेंशन किए वो सभी ट्रांसलेशन में पढ़े.
Saussure, Walter Benjamin, Marx, Freud, Adorno, Horkheimer, Barthes, Derrida. You studied in original language or in translation?
The
Translations.
Okay. Kafka, Borges, Marquez, Neruda, Lorca, Dostoevsky, Brecht. Did you study in original languages or in translation?
Translation.
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 Walter Benjamin, Marx, कम्युनिस्ट मैनिफेस्टो किस लैंग्वेज में लिखा है?
German.
German.
Okay. Okay. फिर Saussure writes in which language?
Russian.
French. Maybe. I think
French.
Okay.
Yeah, he does
Althusser.
write in French.
Althusser. Horkheimer.
Italian.
Horkheimer
Okay.
is
Althusser,
probably
Italian. Althusser.
Althusser, I think,
Althusser,
written in
French.
French.
Gramsci, Italian, I
French.
guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gramsci.
Althusser, French.
Gramsci.
Italian.
Okay. Bakhtin.
Russian.
Russian.
Okay. Freud.
French.
I think Freud was German.
Freud was
German.
German.
Freud was Austrian, so he probably
German.
wrote in German.
He was Austrian.
Yeah.
He was Austrian.
If I'm not, yes, he was Austrian.
Okay. Longinus. Aristotle,
Sir,
Plato,
everyone mentioned we've read only in English.
right? And ये जो Latin European list है, how many of you read it in original? Rilke, Lorca, Kafka, Dostoevsky,
translations.
Celan,
Translations.
Hölderlin, Ionesco.
We looked at Baudelaire's poem in French, but we read in English.
Right. So the question
All of those
is,
were in French,
if
but we read.
you have you know now what happens in translation, and you have read most of these things in English translations, right? Yes, no. And you now are aware of what is involved in translation, right? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
So now when you bring back the question to the center of the table now, and I ask you, did you read Walter Benjamin or translation of Walter Benjamin? Freud or translation of Freud? Whether you read Derrida or a translation of Derrida. Did you read Horkheimer? किस language में लिखता है? I don't know in Horkheimer.
German.
German. Did you read it in German original or in translation?
Translation.
तो नवरात्रि का अगर मतलब आप समझा नहीं सकते हो, तो ऐसे कल्चरल स्पेसिफिक टर्म्स होंगे इन लैंग्वेजेस में, इन टेक्स्ट में? Is it possible that there are certain cultural specific terms which cannot be translated? Is it possible?
Yeah.
And there are
Yes.
equivalences which are
Yes, sir.
approximate, but they are not really anywhere close to the source. ऐसे हो सकता है?
Not entirely, right? कुछ तो
But
होगा
how do you know? You have not read it in original.
It also depends on how the translator is, if they know both the languages, and if the translator.
How do you know?
Yeah, we wouldn't know unless we read the original.
And you have not read the original. So you have not really judged the translation, have you?
Not at all.
Right. So is it possible that there would be a lot of interpretations and explanations and approximations rather than what
Yes.
Marx really wants to say, Saussure really wants to say, or what Freud really wants to say, or what Plato really wants to say, Aristotle really wants to say? ऐसे हो सकता है?
Sir, this translation is not 100% authentic.
Huh. So, but did you say that when you were studying all this?
No.
When you read Lorca or Kafka or Rilke or whatever, what have you? Did you question? Did you take on board the fact that it is in translation?
Yes, sir. While we were reading Lorca, specifically the PDF that I was referring to, there were translators' notes, in between, and it said that in the original French play, this character does not speak this. So, we were constantly reminded that this is a translated form of it.
Text.
Yeah.
But those who knew French, did they take a look at the source? Lorca is not French. Come on, Lorca is
Spanish.
So, notes नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ. Did you take on board the fact that it is interpretation, approximation, explanation, and structural transformations, which can be very confusing, that the translator has done?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere
And
it
this
might be
becomes
very-
more clear if you read
Pardon?
multiple translations of. So what you said, the answer to your question is yes, and it becomes more clear if we read multiple translations of the same text. So we had this poem called Corona by Celan. I do not know the pronunciation. But
Mhm.
so there were two translations. So one was by Michael Hamburger, and the other one was by Susan Gillespie. Now, I read both of them, and Michael's seemed more literal, while Gillespie's seemed more what should I say? It tried to keep the metaphor alive.
But you know
So
German, Preeti, how did
yeah,
you know that
yeah.
this is literal? German आती है आपको?
तो आती तो नहीं है, बट हम उतना तो मतलब ट्रस्ट कर
How?
सकते हैं
But
ना
how?
यूनिवर्सिटी पे कि अगर
That's
आपने
not,
ये
no, how do
हमें
you know
prescribe.
that something is, no, tell me, how will you know that something is closer if you don't know the original? How did you decide?
Because so it would take years and years of revision for something to be.
No, but how did you decide that something is literal?
Well, I guess we just chose to.
Sorry. So how do you even decide something without knowledge of the source language text? Yeah, Astha, you want to say something?
Yeah, so like you just said, I just want to add to that. Like there are so many languages which were translated. I mean, works in so many languages. So what I did was one very small thing, like Baudelaire's poetry is in French, and so I read it in French and then I read it in English. And like Preeti said, two translations. I don't remember the translators, but I read two translations, and I just felt that if somehow, you know, somehow I could just like transfer the entire French language knowledge in someone's head and then tell them the poem, because no matter how much you try, it's just not the same. It's not never going to be the same. So it just made me
Very,
feel that I don't know other
very,
languages, and how will I ever understand what they really want to
yeah,
say?
very good. So what you realize when you compared Baudelaire's two translations with the source is that in spite of all knowledge of French, it's not the same, right? Right? Yes. So doesn't that apply to the all the texts that you have read only in translation without any reference to the source? Maybe it's Plato, Aristotle, Longinus, maybe it's Kant, Hegel, maybe it's Kafka, Dostoevsky, Lorca, it may be Jorge Luis Borges, whatever, right? It may be Communist Manifesto, it may be Bakhtin's essay, whatever you studied till now in translation is not the same as the original, right? Yes, no.
Yes, sir. But
Yes,
right
sir.
now you're making me question all the texts I've read.
So the test, though, so the point I'm making, it is not the same text you are reading, but you believe that it's the same text, right? You believe that Derrida ने लिखा है ना वही है, इंग्लिश में भले ही पढ़ते हो आप उसको, या डेलूजे ने जो लिखा है, it's in same text. The illusion of sameness is a myth, as Astha has realized, because she compared the original with multiple translations. And Preeti could not do that because, hold on, I will just take a call. Yeah. So we treat things as if they are the same without even bothering to figure out that they are not the same. Yes, no? Tagore कितने
Yes,
लोग
sir,
हैं?
but I guess
Tagore स्कूल में
the national anthem we can consider that.
but school didn't you study Tagore?
That one
That-
poem that
Sir,
I
we
read
did in boyhood days.
right, one poem by Tagore.
Boyhood days.
But huh?
We read Boyhood Days in first year.
Right. And that is in which language?
English.
Or it, we
like
read
West
in English, like
Translate
originally in,
it.
yeah, we read
It's-
that in English, but it's
Ah.
originally in Bengali.
So can you substitute translation for the original SMA quack who's round if they are not the same?
Sir, we can't, but particularly with Tagore, because he has translated his own works, we can hope that like a lot of things that he's trying to say, a lot of ideas that he's trying to express, they more or less mean the same in the same language. It's simply because I say this because we're talking about Tagore.
No, sir, I would like to contradict that
But
because
it's
Tagore
not the same
himself said,
attitude.
like Tagore himself said that I can't.
Hold on. Welcome to Comparative Literature and Translation Studies class. Tagore's translations are considered to be most misleading of his own works. In fact, people say that translation for Tagore was an act of perjury. उसने दो चार पोएम मिला दी एक में काफी omit कर दिया काट छाट कर दी because he thought he is the boss, he owns those poems. So he has mistranslated, he has Victorianized lot of stuff which was not Victorian for his Victorian audience, for his Western audience. So there is an essay that you might want to read up called Tagore and Translation as Perjury. Perjury यानी गलत साक्ष देना, जो court of law में it's punishable offense, right? So Tagore misleaded his audience is the charge that is levied against Tagore by many of the scholars. What do you have to say to that?
Like,
But
sir,
sir,
even
isn't it like
Yeah, bolo. Go ahead.
yeah, so if I agree with Preeti and Soumya both, right, that it can be the same and it's not the same. But even if we understand whatever he has translated, you take a very any story like Chokher Bali, you can look at its Netflix adaptation, you can read the translation, but if you see the characters speaking in Bengali and if you understand Bengali, how will that sound in the streets of a city where people speak Bengali? It's a different feel. We will not get that feel even if we understand the story.
Yeah,
So what is the
exactly.
point?
Yes, I think
Translation.
even before
So-
I do
Bollywood,
agree with Asta too.
So can we come
Yeah.
to this conclusion that translation cannot be considered as a simple substitute for the original?
yes, sir.
Okay. Can you consider translations as not exact equivalents? You cannot consider as simple substitutes, and the problem is that you studied them as if they are simple substitutes. You read Communist Manifesto as if it's German Communist Manifesto. You read Freud as if you're reading the German Freud. You read Lorca as if he's Spanish Lorca, but they are not the same. So what have you been reading till now? Is translation? Yes, no.
yes,
Yes, sir, translation.
But what has happened is because English studies is so dominated by the English perspective that most of the things that we consider English are not English. But that fact is underplayed or marginalized or overlooked. The fact that English studies as a discipline is constituted through translation and world literature is not emphasized. What it promotes is the idea that this translated text is a simple substitution of the original. That's how they are studied by you. Yes, no.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sir, can I
Right? Why?
share?
So you have been taken for a ride. You have not really read Kafka, you have read a translation of Kafka, and some other translation may come up which might say something different. You have not really read Saussure, but a translation of Saussure, and something else might come up with another translation. So you have been cheated by English studies. Can you consider that?
That was the motive, sir, when the education system was set that way.
No,
And
but
sir,
what
that
I'm
that
saying is
says,
specific. I'm saying something very
I
specific
think,
about. Yeah. Who is saying? Yeah. What is your name?
yes, am I audible?
Yeah, but what is your name?
Pankaj, sir, Pankaj.
Pankaj. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. That same thing goes with Godan by which is written by Premchand. When we were in BA, so that was in our syllabus, but we had a translation by Gordon C. Rodmerel or some that was the author. Yeah. But somehow he fails to connect with the real pity of the character Hori. The portrayal of the rural background of India, which is portrayed by Premchand and which is portrayed by Gordon, is I think different in a way.
Right. And there is another translation by Jay Ratan of Godan, which we studied as part of our MA program. Older translation. You may want to compare them.
Yeah, so like, can I say something?
So Pankaj, you can have a project for yourself where you compare Rodermal's translation with Jay Ratan and keeping the original Hindi in mind. You know how to read Hindi, Pankaj?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can compare these three texts. Right?
Sure, sir. Sure.
And think for yourself, what are the differences? Yes, someone else wants to say something.
So may I?
Yes.
Yeah, so Pankaj talked about Godan, and I remember, like, I don't know translation kiska tha, but it read The Gift of the Cow. The title of, like, they changed it to The Gift of the Cow. And that's what I was talking about, the cultural differences. Like, even if I know English and Hindi, how the hell am I going to translate the significance of Godan to the English title?
Godan is not a gift, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what it means in our culture.
It's a religious act of giving which gives you punya, and it is part of ritual which you have to follow, right? So गोदान यानी गाय का दान करना ही होता है, especially after death. It's mandatory to donate a cow to the Brahmin. Now, this ritualistic significance of godan cannot be rendered as the gift of the cow. I think it is Jay Ratan translation, if I'm not mistaken. So you realize, because you know Hindi, but you don't know Spanish, you don't know German, you don't know French. So you don't know what things have happened to that text which you consume as if this is Kafka, Borges, Lorca, Derrida, Benjamin, Althusser, Deleuze, all the names that you gave, Marx, Freud, Plato, Aristotle, Longinus. इनके साथ भी यही हुआ होगा जो गोदान में हुआ है प्रेमचंद के साथ. Agree, disagree? Yeah,
Agree. Yes, sir.
Sir, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, as we see all these examples, like, how translation is not authentic and not original. And, the Plato, I just remember the, first class of criticism that, Plato say that it's twice removed from the reality. So in that case, if we saw the translation in that case, it, of course, 4th time removed from the reality. Am I right or wrong?
3 times. Because Plato did not know how to count, उसने कहा thrice removed from reality. No, Plato knew how to count, but he did not have knowledge of 0. So when he says thrice removed, he is counting 1 as original ideal cow that you have in mind. The second is the cow that you see, which is an imperfect replica of the ideal cow.
Yes,
And when
yes,
the painter
exactly.
paints it, it's the third replica.
Yes, exactly.
And
So he might
when
say
you translate this fourth time removed according to Plato, though it is
Yeah.
actually third time.
yeah,
Because
or third of
प्लेटो 1 से गिनना शुरू करता है 0 से नहीं. क्यों? क्योंकि उसके पास 0 था ही नहीं. जब तक अरब लोगों ने इंडिया से लिया 0 और उनको दिया.
Yes, yes. So I think Plato might see this translation as inferior, I think.
Yes. 4 times removed from reality.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Now, my question, whether I agree with this view or not is not an issue. My point is that this process of 4 times removal is not taken on board when you study all these texts in English, because it creates an illusion that you are reading simple substitutes, which are what they are. When you are reading Bakhtin, you think यही कहा है बाख्तिन ने और यही टेक्स्ट बाख्तिन है, बट देन एक्चुअली इट्स अ रशियन का इंग्लिश में हुआ है, राइट? गोदान हुआ है उसका.
So I have a question, and I don't know if it makes sense, but I have a question. So like we are reading all these in English translations. So like, would it be correct to assume that we don't really have, a knowledge of German or Spanish cultures, but a very Anglicized version of their cultures?
Exactly.
And like we don't really know their culture, or like whatever they're trying to say.
Exactly.
So
but it is given to you as if it is the original. समझ रहे हो आप? डेरिडा ही पढ़ रहे हो आप, ऐसा बताया जाता है, मगर डेरिडा नहीं पढ़ रहे हो आप डेरिडा का ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ रहे हो.
So can we say that this discussion follows along the lines of what Walter Benjamin talks about art and reproduction of art?
Okay.
Because in his essay, from what I understood, even he talks about how the reproduction of art loses its authenticity and aura from the original. So
mechanical.
So even the translations are losing its authenticity and its original aura from the original creation which has already been made. So can we make it can we see the parallels between or similarities between what he was saying?
You can, but my question is, आपके साथ prank हुआ है, right?
That's true.
That you have not taken the question of translation on board while you study all this stuff. You think that this is Derrida, this is Plato, this is Walter Benjamin. You read Walter Benjamin not in German, Pooja, right? You read the mechanical reproduction of Walter Benjamin's essay called Art in the Work of Mechanical Reproduction.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So the aura of the German original is lost when you read it in English. But nobody told you this. ये क्या?
Also, sir, like what Pooja said about, replicas and stuff. So you can hear me, right? My net is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but not, for example, not many people know German, right? So you take up a German text and you translate it. So wouldn't the first accurate or translation that's very close to the original meaning be the authentic one for, a wider range of audience?
How will you decide unless you compare it to the original German, but you don't know German? How will you find out which is the authentic one?
Suppose we read, okay, now it's confusing, but suppose there are 3 or 4 translations for a particular play in German, and we choose the one that's the most accurate or the most
How do you know one that is most accurate without knowing German? This is the same question I asked Preeti.
Sir, I think the question of authenticity would get lost because no matter what you do, you are still translating. So you would, it will never be original. It will be as close as it gets to original. So, even though we have studied all these texts under the illusion that we get the essence of what they're saying, we may not have.
Get an essence. How do you know that you are getting the essence?
And that's what I'm saying. We can't, because it's still, we are under that illusion that we got the essence of what they're saying, because the meaning. We focus on that. Ki, okay, yeah, this person was saying this and we have understood it, but it's still a translation. So no matter who translates, it will be as close as it gets to the original.
So for that, you will have to know the original, right?
Right.
Right. So see, all the points that you brought about loss of essence and originality and inauthenticity and 4-time removed are all understandings of translations which are challenged by contemporary translation studies. So I personally don't follow these ways of thinking about translation. The whole intention of today's conversation was to make you aware that there is a complex, challenging process which you have not been told about, complex transformative process, which is made to disappear as part of your study of English studies, right? Under the paradigm of English studies, this whole process of transformation has been sidetracked, not emphasized, and you have been given to believe that you are reading the source language text, right? So English studies is actually constituted through translation, ऐसे आप कह सकते हो. But this process is, what should I say, repressed. I don't know if you're aware of the word repression. How many of you have heard of the term? And I'm going to stop because I have overshot my time here. I will stop with this repression.
Repression or regression?
I'm talking of repression, Freudian repression.
Oh, well, that is us trying to
when something is deliberately overlooked.
Deliberately overlooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, repression, even that is not completely true. Because deliberately, यानी कौन deliberate करता है?
In our case, I guess you professors.
See, repression is different from suppression. In suppression,
Yes.
you are trying consciously to forget or overlook something, and all of you know that that never happens, right? The very thoughts you are trying to avoid are the thoughts that keep haunting you. Yes, no, maybe. You
Yes.
remember precisely those things which you want to forget. And
So,
that's suppression. Repression, on the other hand, is a process of self-defense, right? And the painful fact disappears from your conscious mind through a process of repression, right? That is a mechanism of self-defense according to Freud. That disappears. It's like a football player who is hurt but forgets that he is hurt, doesn't know. It's only when after the game is over, he notices that there is a lot of blood and the pain starts immediately once he realizes he is hurt, right? So what has happened is that his pain is repressed. His wound is repressed. And this is necessary for survival, right? Repression means something disappears from the consciousness, right?
But
and according to Freud, hold on. According to Freud, when this mechanism does not work properly, you develop psychological disorders like neurosis, obsessive compulsive disorders, and all that, tics and whatnot. So this repression mechanism, the mechanism of something disappearing from your conscious mind and being stored in your unconscious mind, right, is what I'm talking about. So fact that translation has happened is repressed when you study Neruda or Benjamin or who else? Plato or Aristotle or Marx or Freud himself, right? So sure, the fact that there is this complex process of transformation, which is inherently incapable of reproducing the exact thing, is overlooked, and you are made to believe that हाँ यही Freud है, यही मार्क्स है, यही लेकॉन है, यही Deleuze है. That is the point I'm making. So one of the things, one of the moves of comparative literature is to bring that repressed material back into the study of literature. Return of the repressed. So comparative literature is like neurosis. Return of the repressed is the term Freud uses, right? When it comes back, you are unable to repress it, like Oedipus complex. It comes back, and that causes problems for you, right? So what I have done is I have brought the repressed dimension of translation back into English studies to highlight the fact that English studies जो कहते हो ना, उसमें English बहुत कम है, यहाँ वहाँ से ली हुई चीजें हैं. English studies is not really English. That is what I wanted to tell you. Anything to say about what I have said? So why do we study comparative literature and translation studies? Is we want to engage with this extremely crucial phenomena which has constituted our discipline called English studies, but it is repressed. हमारा focus उसी पे करना है. या धरती क्या कह रही हो?
सब वो पहले का है, so sorry.
Okay, so one of the reasons why you have comparative literature and translation studies paper is to bring focus back on this extremely critical but neglected process through which your syllabus, your methodologies, your disciplines were constituted in the first place. The process of translation and world literature as it is called today. And these are two important domains of comparative literature. Yes, no, maybe. So what is your take? I will stop with your response. Kuch कहना है? What are you taking away from today's conversation? Where does it leave you with?
A lot of confusion for now.
Okay, confusion between what?
With your question, you know, that how do you select an accurate translation, or how do you know what translation is accurate or what's not?
But you have been studying something believing that it's an accurate translation, accurate equivalent to Derrida's and Lacan's and Freud's and Marx and Gramsci's and Kafka's and Borges and Rilke.
Like I'm questioning all my knowledge right now, like everything I've read so far.
Right. So you have read only translations, which are not exact substitutes for the words. Yeah. Anyone else wants to say something?
That today I got conscious that English studies right now is just a compilation of translations of text from different cultures, different languages, and they come under superior language called English.
And that results in the repression of translation. The fact of translation is made to disappear from your consciousness. Right? Okay, anyone else wants to say something?
Sir, I'm so sorry, but like our other lecture just started. So can we?
Yeah, so I'm going to wind up. So that's what I asked. किसी को कुछ कहना हो तो कह दो. मन में मत पकड़ के रखो. Then I will stop because I have already overshot my time by 20 minutes. Okay, so what we will do is we will continue this discussion